Thanks for joining us on Location with Jeff and Murray. Our special guest today is Brooklyn Derksen. She's a yoga and meditation coach, teacher, and wellness coach and musician from right here in Prince George. So we're here to talk about your story. Please tell us all about you.
Thanks, Murray. I love that intro.
Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited to join a fun conversation with you today.
Well, let's start how you became who you are now. So you're born and raised in Prince George.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying before we went rolling here, it's like, how much time do you got, right? Yeah. Everyone has such a big story and goes through their own trials and tribulations. I mean, I'm almost 30 now, so I've had my fair share. At least I like to think so. But really what got me here is I spent a lot of my young life unwell, so in and out of the hospitals, doctors' offices, things like that. So I just pretty much from the time I was born, I struggled with health issues, and then for a short window in my adolescence, I was a free bird, and then about 9 years old, things sort of came back. So a long several year journey with health struggles.
And this is how you became a healer then?
Yeah. It just kind of led me down the path of self-discovery and exploration and learning how to alchemize pain and really hard things and traumas, and learning how to rewire those into more of an empowering truth and an empowering way to step into the world moving forward. So lots of those character building experiences in my years so far. I have no doubt that I'll have many more.
But now you know you have the tools to deal with them?
I have a few more tools in my toolbox to be able to navigate the twists and turns of life, so to speak.
Well said. Yeah. Well, you look very healthy now and you're glowing.
Thank you.
So you must be doing what you love now.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I've come a long way. I'm not quite where I'd like to be in regards to my health, and I think that will be an ever-evolving journey. Yeah, I have no doubt that will be me carrying on this path of, self-discovery and reflection and healing.
I like it.
But at the same time, it's not my purpose.
Not your purpose. Do you know your purpose?
Wow. I think my purpose has room to sort of evolve and change as I do, but the biggest reason why I know I'm here is that God put me here to spread love and kindness. And so that is the biggest thing I try to do. And I might not be perfect at it.
Love and kindness. I love that.
Yeah, I really truly believe that I'm put here to spread light.
Nice. I truly believe that too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really what I try to leave the door every morning with in my heart is, let's be a light worker today. Let's smile at someone today. Let's spread some joy. Let's spread some kindness. Let's do God's work. And that's really my intention when I step out of the day, regardless of the other titles and achievements that happen. When my head hits the pillow, it's like, did I make someone smile today? Did I ease the load of someone else? Even if it's just like a fraction or a tiny hair of an amount, it still counts. Did I give someone even just a simple moment to relax and feel seen for a second? So it may only be 5 seconds of the whole day, but did I do something, at least one thing that I feel in my heart it is in alignment with love and light and the energy of God. So
love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump in there.
Yeah, please.
Because I had an experience with you. I took I think it was 4 meditation classes, but I only made one because I was gone those weekends. Those days. And so, I remember, so I come into your class. That's the first time I met you.
Yeah,
and
right.
I remember there was a class full and we all got comfortable. I don't remember exactly because I remember all of a sudden it was over. And you were talking about a theta state or something. I forget exactly what. I felt like I must have dropped into some sort of state.
Yeah.
So you had that moment in one of my days, and that was a good moment to go deep into. Is it theta?
What you're describing to me, I would acknowledge as theta. It's like you're not asleep. You're conscious of being awake, but you're also not fully awake. So it's your body's asleep, but your mind is still active, but your mind is active on theta waves. So it's still a conscious state, but it's a very relaxed very healing state.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Time went so fast. Felt like
Well,
it was over.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And this is why you're aware of it. You're aware that you were there and that it all happened, even though your body, as far as your body knew, you were sleeping. So it's kind of this very cool, interesting thing you get to witness when you start meditating or learning about meditating, or even just learning about the neuroscience behind how the brain waves become calmer or slower. And there's so many ways that we could get there, and meditation's one of them, and one that I'm really passionate about, because we're still, and so it's really easy to notice what state you're in, because there's no other distractions, there's no other like senses being bombarded with information. You're just left with the information from within, which can be very challenging, and I acknowledge that for many people it can feel like a lot all at once, and this is where cultivating tools is so important. But tools to be able to navigate that and sit with that, and that's where
like the stillness.
Meditation comes in handy. It's a tool to practice.
Yeah.
It's really a practice. It's like anything, you know. You want to be a good soccer player, or you want to play high level sport, you got to go to practice. You got to do your training, right? If you want to have mental calmness in your life, if you want to feel peace and ease, you got to do your training. Like your brain isn't just know how to handle all of this stress that we have nowadays. We weren't born with that in our, most primal biology. It was a much different time when we came into the world, and the world has evolved, but our physiology hasn't. So we're trying to play catch up, and we're all feeling tired and run down, and like we can't handle the stress. Well, it's because we just haven't practiced enough of, I guess, the brain weightlifting that you need in order to feel more solid through these ups and downs. And
then you mix that with the yoga as well. So you're still teaching meditation, obviously, and yoga.
So I'm still doing the yoga, and that's here in town. I teach at a couple studios, and then privately just doing my own thing.
Nice.
So it's fun. Yeah, I love it. I teach at Chinook Studio and Sunset. So shout out to both those studios. Either one you go to, you're going to love and feel part of a really beautiful community. So little plug for the amazing yoga studios we have in town here. But
they're loved by PG, both of them.
Yeah.
What classes do you teach?
So I teach a Thursday evening class that's it's in a warm room, so it's about 30-ish degrees. It's infrared heat, so this beautiful kind of heat that comes into the body and helps to heal and regenerate tissues and cells and
they have
reorganize.
A room.
Yeah, so it's a heated room with panels on the ceiling.
That's in Chinook?
This one is at Sunset, but Chinook also has the heated room as well. So, but the Thursday class is the warm class that I teach at Sunset. That's in the evening. That's a half yoga. We do go through like a nice gentle movement practice. It's a hatha flow, so you're still working and testing your strength, but it's not power yoga. You're not dripping sweat and busting through limits. You're just testing to see where the limits are. So that's the yoga part of the class. And then the second part of class is actually meditation. So it's about a 20-minute meditation where I walk people through different tools to be able to manage their nervous system and stress. And so in that meditation portion, we cover everything from like body scans and typical meditation work to breathing and just breath awareness, things like that. So people are learning some very cool skills in that second part of the class that if they want to, they can take off the mat and be able to apply it to their lives.
That's great.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So then do you mix music in too? I want to bring music into
sometimes. Yeah. So I've sang at the end of classes.
Nice.
Sometimes it really depends. I find after an hour and 15 minutes of straight talking and projecting my voice, things can get tired. Yeah. So then by the end, it's harder to sing. So that's kind of tricky. I'm navigating that because I really would like to sing for my students more. But my biggest goal for the next year is to get one of those pan drums so that I might not be able to sing, but I could still play live music while they're in meditation. And it's just very meditative, calm music.
I like that.
So that would be fun.
Yeah.
Then I could play live music for their shavasana while I'm while I'm facilitating the guided meditation. So,
Okay.
so that would be really fun. I think that's sort of on my list of goals that I'd like to see for my classes moving forward.
Yeah.
But TBD, we'll see.
So I'm sure you got quite the list of goals.
Yeah, always.
Do you have any
for
musical
all
goals
things.
or anything?
I do.
Yeah?
Fancy you brought that up. Yeah, my musical goals right now are just to get back performing, get back out into the community, allow myself to be seen again as an instrumentalist and as a vocalist. Because when you're out of the practice of it, when you're out of the practice of being in the eye like that, it's hard to then step right back into it.
You'll love it. You're born whereabouts in Prince George? Did you grow up? Heart downtown.
I'm a heart girl.
I'm a heart boy.
We're a different
Nice.
breed, I like
Yeah,
to
we
think,
are.
because we just have longer winters. It's a little bit colder
Yeah.
up there.
Aye.
You don't realize it. Say if you live in the bowl, and I've lived in the bowl, so I've had that experience too. You don't realize it, but it's a solid 4 or 5 degrees colder up there.
Oh, and there's snow for another month at
Yeah,
least.
yeah. And so it's a nice, warm, sunny day down in town, and you drive up the hill, and there's a cold, crisp breeze,
love
and you
that.
got to put the sweater on.
As long as you're dressed accordingly.
Yeah, exactly right.
So you graduated from Kelly Road?
No, I did go to DP Todd. I
Yeah,
went to Montessori Elementary School at High Glen, which is since the downtown location has since burned down. I think they're up in College Heights now.
Okay.
Yeah, that was several years ago now. But I moved just from Montessori over to DP Todd because my elementary was in the catchment area. So that's how that worked. I was a very fortunate kid to get to attend a private elementary school.
That's nice, yeah.
That was very accommodating to different learning styles and different learning paces and different levels in which kids were progressing at. They were really supportive and accommodating to that. Didn't matter what grade you were in. So it was it was a very beautiful way to get to grow up going to school. It was hard to transition then into normal public school. Then I had to go through that a little bit in high school. But as an adult now, reflecting back, I can't thank my parents enough for doing that for me, because it really taught me my own sense of work ethic and accountability very, very young. I really attribute that to why I'm such a multifaceted person now, because I had the opportunities to be able to do that from elementary school, but then also just having parents who were open and supportive enough to provide that for me.
That's nice.
Yeah, not everyone has that, and I acknowledge that. So
I was lucky.
I definitely feel lucky.
I was very blessed as well. But if I could have embraced my artistic side, my musical side before when I was younger, and combined the two somehow, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do my whole life. And then once I finished sport, I fell into the creative world, and I loved it. It's a whole new passion.
Yeah, right?
Maybe
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like anything that maybe is untouched to you, once you get to start pulling back the initial layers, you start learning, whoa, this is a whole world that I had no idea existed.
And I love it here.
Yeah, and I love it here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where it's very interesting that you bring that up, because if I hadn't gone through a lot of the health issues that I went through, I likely wouldn't have pivoted to art and music.
It forced you to pivot.
Yeah, even though that's what felt truly most in alignment with me. And even though that felt most true for me at the time, I didn't really know it until life took me in the direction that it kind of forced me to see it. And then I started really growing into my music and blossoming into that. And that was really fun. That was through high school. And it really started becoming the priority. And
is that when you started healing more? Is that when that all your healing journey started?
I would say that music played a big role in my healing. I didn't really talk a lot about my health stuff, just a lot of people knew that it was happening. And we joke around about it at school and stuff, which had benefits and then also had challenges later on. But I think for me, it's like if I hadn't gotten to a point where my health wasn't able to continue to pursue soccer in the way that on the trajectory that I was anyway, I wouldn't have changed gears in the same way. And so for me, like, you talk about having wanted the opportunity to get to experience arts a little earlier, and I'm grateful that I did. It wasn't in an easy way that I got to, but I did. And so I got that gift to be able to sort of explore it earlier on and decide whether I wanted to carry it on into my later years or not.
Great.
But,
Thank God you had that gift too.
right, exactly. And it especially because music became such an outlet for me. Even though I'm stepping back into the community as a professional musician, music will always be like my blissful thing. And so I know that no matter what, I can sit down at my keys at 10 o'clock at night when the world has gone to bed, and I can just get lost for a couple hours. But
it feels like, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, well, that was a good 5 minutes,
Nice.
2 hours. Okay,
Yeah.
I should probably get on to something else.
So healing.
It is. Yeah. It's just like when you're in that flow, and it's, meditation isn't just, and this is, I talk about this with students a lot. As a meditation teacher, you find this a lot. There's a huge misperception on what meditation is. You know, meditation is commonly thought of as the act of stopping thoughts. Meditation is not the act of stopping thoughts. Meditation is not the act of having a completely wiped brain.
I like that because I never,
meditation.
like, the only way I could get around that, I'm like, how do I understand that? So I'd have to visualize a sport, or just visualize the energy around me or something.
Yeah. And so what I mean by that is our brain is an intelligent organ. There's no mistakes in how it was made.
Yeah.
It is designed perfectly, celestially, purposefully too, and intentionally. And so it's not designed not to think. Opposite.
Yeah.
Our mind was created to think, to have free-form thinking, to have individuality, to have consciousness. So if that's the sole reason why our brain exists, is to have such a key function for being a human, why would we want to shut that off?
Yeah, why don't
what the heck?
Yeah, you think we should learn this from a young age, all of it.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we're not yet anyway.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get there. But that's where I find people have the most trouble when it comes to even starting to meditate, is that they go in with the expectation that they should be able to clear their mind in 2 minutes. And the reality is that's going against every piece of your natural biology, and it's not going to happen. And all it's going to do is make you feel crappy about it, and like you're failing, and like you can't do it. But the reality is you just haven't learned the skills yet to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You haven't generated the practices and tools to be able to sit with the thinking mind without having to go on a ride, without having it, pull you out of your body, without it feeling too overwhelming, that you can't manage. These are common feelings when someone starts to meditate, and I experience
overwhelming
them.
feelings, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're common because many people maybe have not spent a single moment with themselves, or their emotions, or their thoughts,
So it
or
all
their
just
beliefs.
comes flowing.
And so you get still for long enough without distraction, and all the stuff that is silenced within those distractions is given a microphone. So all the things that you either distract yourself to shut out, or have swept under the rug, or perhaps just hasn't processed yet because you've had so much information coming at you from life in the world that the brain hasn't had time to go through the processing process of that thought or that feeling or that emotion or whatever.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And so when you come to stillness and the body starts to relax, these things start to come up because they finally have space to. It's like the brain and the body say, we finally feel safe enough to get to tell you everything we're going through and feeling right now. Let us share all of our stuff with you. It's like if a little 4-year-old girl came up to you with a stuffed unicorn and a pink princess dress and said, hey, Murph, do you want to hear my song?
Sure, let's hear it.
Would you say, no, you're not allowed to sing.
Yeah, imagine.
Well, the little 4-year-old princess in all of our brains just wants our thoughts to be acknowledged and validated.
So true.
And then all we're doing is saying, no, you're not allowed to think that. So how do you think the little princess in the brain is going to respond to that?
Shut down or something?
It's either going to shut down or grow. Get louder or shut down. And this is where then you have reacting without any control, or just reacting without thinking, just off the cuff without any filtering or processing. So I like to call that an unconscious action. You're not actually conscious and mindful of that action. It's just triggered by a reaction to a thought or emotion or a belief that you have. So there's that approach where things could blow up, but there's also the approach where then you could dissociate, cut off. This is too much. I can't handle it. I'm cutting off. So I've essentially abandoned myself in this moment because I don't want to deal with my feelings.
Push it down.
And again, what messages are being sent to that little 4-year-old princess, whether it's an explosive yelling response or an abandonment response? How is she going to react to either of those? And this is what most of us do, one of those things. And it's
I'm more the abandonment one.
I'm that one too. I'm that one too. I am a peacekeeper and
same.
So I don't like raising my voice, even if it's not a negative way to raise my voice. I still don't like raising my voice. It's just not something that feels good for me in my body.
Yeah.
And that's great. Some people project like it ain't no thing, and that's awesome. They're probably not meditation
if that's
teachers.
what they want to do.
But
I'm not a big yeller either.
Yeah. So
I've yelled. I've made mistakes.
Right?
I've been angry. But
there's a
never
space
feels
for
good.
it. It's important.
It is important.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's some times where it does feel good. But back to the meditation, this is what I find a lot as a meditation teacher. And so when you give people the knowing, the realization that, oh, you don't actually have to stop your thinking mind. You don't have to stop your thoughts.
Just brief.
Oh my gosh, what the heck? Who knew? We could meditate and still think at the same time. We could just meditate, notice our thoughts, and not get tied into our thoughts. And that's actually all that meditation is.
I like
that. Breaks it down, right?
I like that. Then I like to feel like I'm looking more.
Yeah. So
detach.
I really like to say that meditation is the act of curiosity. Openness, awareness. That's all. And so in meditation, you get the opportunity to sit with yourself in all of your truth. And then that's why I'm there, is that I'm there to help teach you tools to be able to handle that with more ease, more peace, and more fluidity, so that it not just becomes something you do in a yoga studio in a classroom. It starts becoming a way you choose to live your life off the mat and outside of the yoga studio. So that might mean that, emotionally triggering conversation with your daughter, you're able to take a deep breath, listen to her words, not take it so personally. You're acknowledging, okay, she said this thing to me, which triggered this in me. Let's just give an example for fun. You know how sometimes teenagers can get really dramatic and powerful, or passionate, let's just say. Passionate's the best word. And teenagers will say things they don't mean a lot because they haven't understood necessarily the power of language yet. And so they'll say, oh, I just hate you. I don't even like you, Mom, or whatever. And that could really impact a mother who's, the role of a mother is just, there's so much sacrifice to that and so much love and generosity, and it's just ever generative, right? And so I can imagine hearing that as a mother would feel like I'm getting goosies talking about it, because it would feel so deflating, right? And in that moment, that mother has an opportunity to respond. But how she responds is going to determine on how aware of herself she is.
Yeah.
Chances are, if she's a seasoned meditator, she'll take a breath. Or if she doesn't even have to be seasoned, just a meditator who's learning these practices and wanting to learn them more, chances are she'll take a breath. She'll acknowledge how she's feeling. She won't put that on her daughter. She'll say something like, I hope you didn't mean that. I'm going to choose to believe that you didn't, but I'm going to walk away now.
Wow. Yeah.
And in other cases where a mom may not be as aware, she might respond and react. Well, how dare you say that? I do all these things for you. I gave you life, or whatever reasons they want to pull out of the hat. Or the mother could completely shut off. The daughter says that and the mother says nothing and just walks away, which that's an abandonment to both the mother herself and the kid at that point. And that's where we're talking these back to that energy of that little princess in the brain of stopping it or letting it grow. It's that same situation here. That mother has the opportunity to stop it or let it grow, or come and meet in the middle, take a breath, respond with more intention, more awareness from herself about what's going on for her. And chances are that approach is going to lead to a more harmonious unfolding of
Much
that
more
situation,
gentle.
right? And to me, that is what differentiates people who have an understanding of meditation or have had meditative experiences that breed self-awareness, and the people who have not had those opportunities or don't go out and create those opportunities to know themselves better. And these are just hypotheticals we're speaking in, of course. I'm just kind of throwing examples off the top of my head. But because I know sort of the ways in which these tools help everyday people, I'm drawing off of examples that students have told me about. So it's not that they're completely made up. It just might be someone else's truth.
Yeah.
So, when people are telling me that when they go through 6 weeks of meditation with me, that they are a better partner, a better mother, father, daughter, brother, sister, a better human being to those on the street, a better human being to themselves. When people are telling me this over and over and over again, I have no choice but to believe that it's magic, right? That they're feeling it. The magic is happening for them. The rewiring is happening. And they might not understand the science of it. I do, because I love it and I'm a nerd about it, right?
Same.
I think the neuroscience is very, very cool. And that's why I'll teach just a tiny bit of it in my meditation course, just because I think it's really enlightening and cool for people to understand, oh, when I feel this way, my brain's operating at alpha wave. Yeah. When I feel this way, or when I'm doing this task, my brain is operating at this wave. And so just having that simple awareness of, oh, I'm a bit stressed right now. I'm in beta. I am like, my brain waves are going. We're dialed in. We're a bit stressy. How can I get to feeling more calm? So then someone might, if they understand a little bit, how could I get to feeling my alpha waves? Okay, I'm going to count backwards from 20. There's the idea of reverse is very calming for the brain. So instead of counting up to a number, you count down. And it's the reason being is it feels very complete. There's no there's nowhere else to go.
There's no ...
You're coming down, and then it's and so the brain, there's this interesting thing that happens, and it triggers this alpha wave state in the brain when you start counting down from a certain number.
So you must do that in meditation then, hey? Like in your classes?
Yes, we do it with like breath counting.
Okay.
So, you'll inhale, exhale, count 10. Inhale, exhale, count 9.
Yeah.
8, and then go down to 1. And then if they lose count or get to 1, just begin again at 10. And, if they don't get to 1, by the time we're moving on to something else, there's this gentle, just release the need to get to 1. And chances are it's already stimulated that alpha wave in the brain. So they'll be fine to let that go and move on. I know some people might listen to that and be like, I'd have to get to 1. It would be so frustrating. but leave some room for being surprised. You might think you know something about your brain and how it might respond to meditation, but I think the most loving thing you could do when you step into that environment is to allow yourself to be surprised. Allow the magic to kind of happen so that you can not only feel the goods of it, but be kind of pleasantly taken aback, like, oh, this is a byproduct of meditation that I didn't know existed, that I didn't even know I could access, but because I had no pressure to get there, here I am.
Yeah, nice.
And I've been there too. It can be really easy to get caught up in all of the stuff that's hard and let that take over.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been...
Could be a negative spiral. It's hard to pull yourself out sometimes.
Exactly. So, and that very much happened on my journey. And I know we haven't talked on it a lot. I've talked about my journey a lot in the past.
I didn't fish much.
But, I went through a lot of health issues. I spent a lot of time in the hospital as a kid, birthdays, Christmas, New Year's, these things. I'm hooked up to IVs and, getting the news that I need surgeries and things like that. Oh. So, I had those experiences growing up, and even just being poked and prodded in so many ways before I even ever had the experience of, desiring physical touch from someone. I didn't have a choice. I had it because I was being poked and prodded by all sorts of people. And it wasn't even in a beautiful way that most people like to experience, physical touch. It was just mundane, routine, male doctors taking care of this 11-year-old girl, right? But it's tough. Like all this body autonomy taken away at such a young age, right? And that is something that I didn't know affected me so deeply until I started unpacking things later on. It was like, wow, the first experiences I ever had of a man touching me that wasn't my father was a doctor doing medical exams.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
Ooh.
I'm wondering what's wrong with me too. Hey?
Yeah, and that's it's so weird. My point is, it's easy to get caught up in those things and live there. And I did for a long time, because that's just one small piece of the complex PTSD that I've gone through, and that it's a continual process to navigate and to keep managed. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's easy to get caught there.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught there. And when life throws in these things of mental health struggles and trauma and accidents and all of the tough stuff that can happen, it can be so easy to think that that's life. I started to get to a point from the age of 9 to the age of 20, I was dealing with so much health stuff, right? And I still continued to after that point, but really specifically around 19, 20, 21, 22, I felt myself very much stuck in kind of that mud of taking on the identity of I am sick, I'm unwell, I don't have good fortune, things like that,
no, that'd be
right?
hard.
It is hard, because when you fall into believing that, the brain doesn't really care what you believe. It just likes to find reasons to validify what you do believe. Yeah. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's the brain
and
isn't
it will
emotional.
Find ways.
The brain, there's parts of the brain that are emotional, of course. And I mean, I like to think that our emotions are bred from somewhere a little bit deeper. Our emotions can't be thought around. It's limbic, so it's a more uncontrollable thing. But you sort of create the life that you step into with your beliefs. And I'm not saying you create the events that happen to you. Not at all. Because I'm not sitting here saying I completely created my entire life story, because I don't feel that way. I spent time there in that woe is me place, and I was miserable, and I was suicidal, and I was unwell, and I was self-harming.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd never think. Yeah.
It's crazy,
right?
right?
A lot of people have gone through your situation.
I know.
And you would never know.
Yeah. Wow. And for me, I was also very good at hiding it. I'm very good at kind of putting on a smile, and I have to watch that for myself, because I don't want it to ever be at the expense of my authenticity.
Yeah.
But it is just how I stay strong. It's for me, if I can get through the day with a smile, I feel much more empowered and stronger and confident, than getting through the day with a frown, you know? And that's for me, and it might not be like that for everyone, but that's what gets me through and helps me manage my stress, is when I'm maintaining my joy. When you romanticize your delights, you are feeding your joy, which inevitably is going to lead to a happier state of being. And most of the time, as much as possible, I really try to delight. I romanticize my delights because it feeds into that process. And then it becomes a way of being. It becomes a way of life. That is exactly how I pulled my way out of being suicidally depressed and self-harming. I romanticized the tiniest little joys. The tiniest little joys. To me, like, I'm really just going to bring it all back together. Like, to me, meditation, very interesting tool to be able to start navigating this and getting curious around these types of things, because you don't have all the other stuff. You have just stillness, just to be. And it might feel a little crazy at first. It might be hard. You might need to generate the skills to be able to sit with your nervous system and your emotions and your thoughts and all those things. But once you generate that, then you can sit in this place and you can start sort of just being with, witnessing. And then not only do you learn these different qualities about yourself, but then you can also intentionally bring things in. You can intentionally learn how to focus on joy. You can intentionally learn how to regulate your nervous system enough to be able to hold joy.
Yeah.
You know, you're given this opportunity, and especially in the way that I do it, with a teacher, with a coach, to be able to use meditation as a tool that really just makes any and every area of your life better if you wanted to.
It really does.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that sitting down cross-legged chanting Om, like, that's going to be for everyone. I don't do it. But some people might not be able to be in stillness. And while I think that there is great space for that, because so much is revealed in stillness, it might be too much. And that's okay. Don't start there then. Start with a walking meditation. Notice the sun on your face. Notice the color of the leaves. Notice the ground under your feet. Notice how it's like kind of unlevel. Notice the clouds in the distance. Notice the flower brushing in the wind. Notice the leaves rustling. Like, that's also meditation. Guess what? You've dropped in. You're tuned in. You're with the present moment. You're with yourself in presence. And you're with, in that example, you're with the earth in presence as well. That's meditation too. So that counts. So I don't want to discount, you know, these meditative activities like journaling and walking and music and movement, and even, you know, exercise and sport for many. Like, these things can be a meditation.
Absolutely.
While I do think everyone should explore stillness meditation at least once in their life, because it is so profound and powerful. If you've tried it and it doesn't work for you, like, do what does. So when you learn to meditate, not only does it impact kind of yourself and your inner world, but obviously everywhere around you, because you're then taking all these tools you have and applying them to your relationships, your work, your life your
gets better.
values. Yeah. So I like to believe that,
Nice.
of course. I mean, I'm a little biased, but it really is, that truly is how the power of meditation can work out in someone's life. And I don't meditate 2 hours a day anymore. I don't even meditate every day anymore. Like, sit down, intentionally meditate every day anymore, because meditation on some days just doesn't apply. If I wake up anxious, the last thing my body wants to do is be still. And according to polyvagal theory, you don't want to be still because you're in an activated state in your nervous system. So first you get rid of energy. So I'll do a walking meditation because my body needs to move. I still have the opportunity to connect and to be present, but I don't have to try to carve out time in my day to be still, A, if I don't have time, or B, if it's just not working with where my body and my mind are at that day. Yeah, I truly believe meditation to be a powerful tool in that process and a powerful ally in life. Do I think it's the end-all be-all only nervous system relief tool? No, I don't. This is why I teach many, but I do think that meditation is so profound in the sense that it gives us deeper self-awareness and self-wisdom that is born within the self. It is self-guided. So there's just profound power to that.
Well, thanks for
in my opinion.
Well, thanks for telling us your story. You've come a long way.
These little bits, little pieces here and there.
Nice.
But yeah, it's fun to chat. I mean, I could obviously talk about this stuff for
I love
days.
it.
Like you probably noticed.
Definitely
but
passionate. It's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
But,
awesome. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I had fun today.
Yeah, great. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by your journey already.
Oh, well, thanks. Cheers.
Yeah. Awesome.
Aw.